Hey guys, welcome to the PEZ Tutoring YouTube channel. I recently started working with a student who needed help with the SAT, and he told me that he is pretty strong with math and even reading comprehension. But what surprised me was when he told me he was least confident with the grammar questions. And if you've worked on the newest SAT, the grammar questions are called the rules-based questions. I was pretty surprised because personally I think that those grammar and punctuation related questions are some of the easiest questions on the SAT. However, I am biased because I do spend hundreds of hours a year teaching students grammar, specifically grammar taught with the Michael Clay Thompson curriculum. And that's one thing that MCT does offer that I love so much is the grammar aspect of it. Most of the time when I work with students or when my tutor also works with students, we use the Michael Clay Thompson grammar books, usually Grammar Town, sometimes Grammar Voyage. And with those students, they might be ages 9, 10, 11. It's easier for them to start studying grammar. And I mean studying the grammar deeply. That means the 8 parts of speech, the parts of a sentence, the phrases and the clauses. All of that is maybe not fun for all parents to be able to teach, and so we enjoy doing it because it's very step by step. It's actually a bit more mathematical. When it comes to English language arts, I think learning grammar is slightly more step by step than anything else in English language arts. And learning grammar is not just about memorizing a bunch of rules like what part of speech is this or where should this go in a sentence, but grammar helps all students become more confident with building and writing sentences that actually make sense. And logically, building good sentences helps to create better paragraphs create better essays, and so on. Now, one thing that Michael Clay Thompson doesn't necessarily offer in such a streamlined way is the writing aspect. Now, the grammar is great for sure, but when it comes to writing, I've had a lot of parents reach out to say, hey, I think my kid needs some help with writing when it comes to actually putting their thoughts together. A lot of parents, it's hard to teach their own students, especially if you're a homeschooling parent. It's maybe frustrating or it's very slow moving to teach writing. So if they have the foundation of great grammar, they should be able to apply that to writing. And so in our classes, I do use the MCT curriculum there are a lot of writing questions in the level 4, level 5. Occasionally with 2 and 3, they have some good activities, but I make a lot of it up. There's creative writing, narrative writing, nonfiction writing happens more so with Michael Clay Thompson. So while they offer great grammar, sometimes the writing is a little bit all over the place. I find it important and pretty fun to actually create writing activities influenced by the MCT books, but also just, suggested or often influenced by what the student needs, what their interests are. And that does cover a vast array of ideas. Sometimes the student and I, during a class, can come up with a good writing activity on the spot, but most of the time I'm able to plan ahead just because I can take some influence from the MCT books and actually create our own, and we always use Google Docs for that because writing digitally really is effective for our students because we can give them that feedback. By the way, if all this sounds great to you and you want to hear more about our tutoring services, definitely email us below, or you can look at some of the information on the video and watch some of our other videos too. I've made lots of YouTube videos and shorts about the writing, about the MCT books, all of that good stuff. But speaking of that, learning with MCT does encourage students to actually read the classics. I admit that when I was 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, even in college, I didn't always want to read a classic novel. The vocabulary, the language, the stylistic choice of some of the authors, that is not always easy to read. You've got much easier books, fun books, exciting books that I need to recommend to students because that's what they might need first. We need to show them the joy of reading and get them on board. Then they're able to access some of the classic novels. And, I'm sure Michael Clay Thompson would think, they need to read novels right away at an early age. Yes, but because of our modern culture, jumping right into something like The Wind in the Willows or Robert Louis Stevenson's Kidnapped, that can be tough for someone who's an average reader, even a slightly above average reader. But overall, If you give it a try, if you're learning with this curriculum and you realize he's talking about these classic novels, all of this vocabulary that we've been learning and pronouncing and inserting into practice sentences, well, all those words exist in those novels. And so with some students, we're able to go ahead and actually read classic novels. Some students that we've worked with will read classic novel after classic novel. And I'm talking like Animal Farm, A Connecticut Yankee, and King Arthur's Court. Even like I have a student now who's about to read A Diary of Anne Frank, so maybe not like the old classics, but that's still a pretty important book. Learning the vocabulary, understanding grammar helps you recognize things in those stories that readers who don't study MCT, they might overlook a lot of things. So if you want to just breeze through English language arts and focus more on math and science, Michael Clay Thompson curriculum, it may not be the best thing for your student, but honestly, I mean, I'm biased. We offer it. I've been teaching it since 2018, and I've seen it do absolutely nothing but great things for all students. It is best for students who are a bit more scholarly and who really want to learn and who love reading. But I've used it with students who I recognized a little bit of uncertainty and resistance, and they have improved. It's all about that consistency, working with a good tutor once or twice or even 3 times per week. So if you're a homeschooling parent, or if you just have a student who loves English language arts and yet they want or need some help in that area, now is a good time to reach out. I promise you that if students work with us, they're always going to become better students. They'll always be better after than they are right now. So ask yourself, do you have the time? Do you have the focus right now to encourage your child to read and write and learn grammar and pronounce vocabulary and research books on their own? That's a heavy burden to bear, and that's where PEZ Tutoring can come in and really help. And you know, if we are booked, if occasionally we do become booked, we can put you guys on a waiting list so that you can eventually get the opportunity to work with us, because we love working with students. So guys, thanks for watching and look for our next video. Bye.